Yo, what's up guys, Holding Eyes with you here, bringing you Samurai 8 manga review. This was chapter 5 titled Heading Out. This was a very interesting chapter, to say the most. Actually I think this is like one of the best chapters. We got a lot of things dropped. It wasn't really explained well, but it's a start. We have Dorama and Hachimaru, they out on their journey, and they go into the safe house so he can train them. But before they get there, they stop by this big oak tree, and Dorama is doing something in there, and he finds like this little lab with a black horse in there, because those dogs that they ride, which look like dogs, are supposed to be their horses. And he finds it, and he activates it, and then like this big bone about like this big comes out from like the top part of the back of the horse, and he takes it and he infuses it into his arm, and he takes the horse for himself. And this is where we get something really interesting that I know a lot of people are not talking about, that I noticed. And Hachimaru basically asked him, is that important, you know, these animals? And he was like, of course they are. They're very important. They are key holders. They count as our weapons, our armor, our shield, our transportation, and lastly, but most importantly, our symbol. And he was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, I will explain that to you later when we get to the safe house. So we get a little, cliffhanger, sadly off. But then when they finally reach the safe house, before they get into it, they have to go through the entrance, which is like a cave, and there's 2 stone statues there. And Dorama was going to tell him to stand down. We're going to enter in. But before he gets to speak, he went to sleep. And this is a habit that he had earlier in the chapter as well, that every time he was going to do something or Hachimaru was going to talk to him, he just tipped over and fell asleep. He went on AI real quick. So the stone statues saw this, and in their mind, threat, and they went to attack, and they started attacking them. And Hachimaru was like, well, I'm not a proper trained samurai, but a samurai is a samurai. So he started using his sword skills on them, and every time he hit them, he just bounced off. And he was like, what the heck are these guys made of? I can't even cut them. But then eventually Dorama woke up and saved them, and we see him fighting. And before he gets to fight them, he does something very interesting. He opens up his left arm, like the bottom part, and the bone that he gathered earlier came out. And what he does is that he takes that bone, and then he takes his other hand, his right hand, and he sticks it into his stomach, and he rips out his soul, and he infuses his soul with the bone, and he makes like an energy blade, and that's what he uses to fight with. And if you look through the chapter where he's fighting these stone statues, he uses other forms as well. Besides the soul and the bone combined to make that sword, we see that he transformed his dog into like this weird armor state, and he also had that armor state, which we seen that before earlier in the chapter, in chapter 1, when we had those 2 samurais fighting, how they infused with their dogs, and they had like that energy blade, and they on their dogs, and their dog looked like armor fused with an animal. So I guess this is the armor, shield, and transportation and symbol, the 4 or 5 things he mentioned earlier. I believe those are all probably different fighting styles or transformation styles that you can go into with your horse when you're in battle. That's my guess. I believe it's going to play a very important role. It hasn't been specified. That's one of the problems with this manga so far. It seems too fast-paced, and a lot of things are not explained properly. But it's nice to know that that's going to be how the power setting and the power scaling and fighting is going to be for the beginning of this series. Will it stay and increase later on? Who knows? We're going to have to wait until we get there. If we get there. Again, it's an okay chapter. It's more interesting than the other 4, but it's not something that's going to really pull in the readers yet. So, but like I said before I give this series a complete drop, I like to give every series 10 mangas read first, and read the 10 first chapters before I make that decision. Since this is only chapter 5, we got 5 more to go. But yeah, he basically ended off the chapter by defeating these guys and telling Hachimaru, your dog is just a regular holder. It doesn't really become a key holder, a true samurai dog, until you gather its bone and master it. and he's like, how do I get the bone? And then you see in the thumbnail, Hachimaru was actually able to get the bone like that in an instant. His master showed him how to get it. You have to unlock the back part of your dog and take it out from their bone marrow. And now he actually has his dog's bone in his hand. Now he has to learn how to rip out his soul and infuse it. Which most likely that's going to be in the next page, next chapter, when they actually train. But again, it was an okay chapter, kind of slowish, kind of too fast-ish, and doesn't really explain much. And that's like one of the problems a lot of people are having so far with this series. It's like everything is like super fast paced, and it started off slow with like the first 2 chapters, but then like the other 3 were just super fast, and things are not really being explained fully. And I would like for them to like slow it down a little bit and explain some things, like these power sets and what these 5 things that he mentioned earlier: the transportation, the weapon, the shield, armor, and symbol. These are the 5 things that the Rama mentioned to Hachiramu that these horses of theirs symbolizes. So I'm not sure if they are like symbolations of different styles to believe in, or they could be different fighting styles, they could be different transformation styles that you use in fighting. It could be many different things, so that really needs to be explained. But it was an okay chapter. Again, it was just so many problems, and the artwork is just horrible and hard to follow. But again, I'm going to give it another 5 chapters until we reach chapter 10. From there, I'll let you know when I drop it or not. But that's all I have for you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Share with your family and friends. Please give this video a like. Tell me down below what you think so far of the chapters, and what you thought about this chapter, and what those 5 things probably mean to you, what you think they are. But let's have some fun with this. Or follow me on Twitter, link me down below. But that's all I have for you guys. Peace out, have a good one.